What's up, everybody? It's MARKPIRES with a Real Estate 101 on this Thursday, day 704 in a row of the MARKPIRES Real Talk Show. This is a secondary segment we do as often as possible. So I'm here with you for a Real Estate 101. And we're going to get into it. Today I want to talk to you about home renovations that can put more money in your pocket when you decide to sell. This is a call-in show, so if you do have any questions, you have any renovations you've been through that have been a nightmare or a success and you want to talk about them, this is a program where we connect, just like the regular Real Talk program. So, renovation projects that turn into nightmares. The reason I thought of this today was I got an email on, what's the name of that neighborhood site? It's called like neighbors.com or something like that. Let me see if I can pull this up. I want to explain Nextdoor. So Nextdoor, I see this morning that a neighbor of mine somewhere locally had hired a contractor. And I don't want to, blow people's names out there and talk bad about someone I don't know, but he explained the person who it was and that they promised to be exceptional at renovation. What proceeded to happen was clearly a hack job, and this homeowner had to hire an additional contractor to come and clean up the mess, which is always going to cost you twice, obviously, and also the headache of it. Fatima, how are you? And not sure. Good to see you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, guys. I'm here just dropping a little Real Estate 101 for you. I have a little time before my appointment this afternoon, and I wanted to make sure I connect with you guys. Again, remember, this show is just to remind you that what I do during the day is sell real estate. So, this has become a lead generation show. What I'm here to do is connect with the family, with the Real Talk family, and help every single person who's being helped with positivity, but help them with their real estate transactions. How can you do that, Mark, if you are in Connecticut and say Fatima is in, I don't know, maybe it's Fatima because I know she's on the East Coast too, or she's somewhere in the U.S. I just don't know where. But say Fatima is in New Orleans. She's in New Orleans and she wants to make a move. She says, Mark, you know what? I'm thinking about buying a house, but I don't know who I want to use. I have a bunch of friends and I don't want to use a friend. So I'm going to interview a few agents. Do you mind finding another agent that I can interview? That's what we do here. So the beauty of that, and all of a sudden I'm losing frames. Lovely. Let me see if I can shut down my Wi-Fi, at least on my phone. Maybe that'll help. So Fatima says, Mark, I want to buy a house. What I do then is I locate basically the area she's looking. So if she's looking in New Orleans specifically, I would find the Berkshire Hathaway office in New Orleans and I would speak with the manager. Now, the interesting thing is when most people call a manager in order to find out who they should use, that manager is typically giving you the agent at the lowest split. Because what they want to do is make the most money for the office. They're not giving you the best agent. And if they give you the best agent, most times that agent is too busy for you. And now you have a job during the day. You don't have time to go and research agents. And every firm has great agents. So you don't just pick someone out of the hat. Most people do. Most people just go with whatever. But when it comes to selling your pride and joy, your home, that's an important decision that you need to think out. You don't just hire someone because you're talking dollars and cents and it's not just a few zeros. Big, big numbers exchange. Who you hire and their backbone, their ability to negotiate on your behalf, fight for your value is so important. And I think a lot of people disregard that and they start thinking about the little things like commission. How much am I paying for commission? And none of that is actually going to provide you with the most money at the end when the transaction takes place. Your agent's commission is minimal when it comes to that final negotiation and a difference between $10,000, $20,000, $50,000. Your agent has the ability to drive more money into your pocket. Or you can choose someone who's a discount broker who really doesn't care what you get. Believe me, if you're cutting their commission, they're cutting yours. You just don't realize it till the closing. You don't realize it until they're forcing you to take something. I want to say hi to a few other people. Gonzalez, how are you? Renee, good to see you. Oh, man. Farkas is going through my old content. I kind of said to everybody who watches the show, I'd like people to go back and see some of the older shows because there's so much great content there and I had nobody see it. I have a weird feeling that I'm delivering too much content on a daily basis that most people won't be able to find the time to look backwards until I'm no longer able to broadcast, until something, unfortunately we all come to an end and one day the last day of Real Talk will take place. And at that point, then it will just be a matter of what has been recorded and what has been left for time. But for now, I don't imagine people are going to be able to find the time to do it. So it makes me really, really I smile. I have an interior, my soul smiles when I hear that. When Farkas says, I'm just picking out randoms and I'm finding some cool stuff, It's like every episode, there's something. Every episode. And the hard part was this entire 704 days, I've been a real estate agent the whole time. So I can't give you everything I'd want. I can't cut everything out on a daily basis and share it with you like I want. And Farkas could probably tell you, he may have seen whatever episode he saw. There's 10 pieces of content in that episode that I never delivered. I just didn't have a chance to go back and review it. I'm a realtor. I give what I can, I wish I could spend my entire day just going through the show from the day before and just dropping stuff all day. It's just not a reality at this point. So what we do is we do what we can. However, that makes me really happy to hear that, Farkas. Thank you so much. And Anna, how you doing? And Gonzalez, how you doing? It's the boss. Of course I remember you, Gonzalez. I'm so glad you're here. Oh, so glad you're here. Free People's Like, Truth History, 100 More Joke, Real Speaking, All Truth Together. Yeah, you know what? I think I wanted to get you on too, Farkas. I'm going to be doing a call-in tonight, I think, as well. I think I'm going to do call-ins most nights on the show, and it will be towards the tail end. We'll play music, we'll have some laughs, and then we'll have some calls. And this show continues to evolve. But even the Real Estate 101 show is going to continue to evolve. And I wanted to see, Renee, did you send me an email? I know you said you were going to. I didn't see it. If you didn't, let me know, because I'll give you a different email. For some reason that didn't work. But as far as the Real Estate 101 show, this is going to evolve as well. My plan is to have different, professionals on, mortgage brokers, attorneys, and to discuss, what's happening in this world, transactions and how to handle transactions, mortgage rates, etc., and even contractors. My father, my brother, the builders, maybe they come on and talk. I don't know. Like I said, this is going to be a roaming show. It's not going to always be from behind this desk. In fact, most likely once we get back to normal, because this is not the normal. New normal is nothing. This will never be the normal. We're going back. And when we do, it's going to be like on the road. It'll be like at, I don't know, Real Estate 101 from the new listing or on my way to an appointment. Getting ready to present to see if I can get a listing. That'll be a whole thing. So we're going to continue. We're going to continue to evolve and grow. And I want to know how I can help you guys. Realistically, like I said, everybody knows one person, at least one person, that's moving now or plans to move. And every single person requires high quality. They may take what they get, but they really require the best, and they don't get it. Why I say you require the best is there's money being left on the table. There is money being left on the table, way too much money. Dana, how are you? Anna, how are you again? My business email for Real Talk is mark@markpiresrealtalk.com. So you guys can send me an email there. Let me see, mark@markpiresrealtalk. I'm going to type it in here so you guys have it. And same thing. So if you have anybody you know that may need help, what I'd like to do is get on the phone with you. We could talk about it here. And you could say, you know what, I know my neighbor's going to be, thinking about selling. And we could chat about how you can approach them and ask them if they'd be okay with having an additional person to interview. I think most people would be thrilled to have a really great professional to interview that they didn't have to work to find. And this is the thing I have to figure out how to get people to realize is, you know, you work a job, you have your own job. Do you really want to sit there and research real estate agents for 4 or 5 days in order to find someone that you think is good? And the only reason you think they're good is because you asked a certain set of questions that you only know to ask because you're not someone who buys and sells real estate on a daily basis. Or you do that anyway. You're going to interview a few people and get that last option from me. Someone that I research. I pre-interview for you. You know, I like to do this. I'll call the manager, say, hey, this is MARKPIRES from the New Canaan office. I have a client. I've got a family member. We're a family. I got a family member who wants to sell a piece of property in New Orleans. And who do you got? Oh, well, Mark got this firecracker, an agent. This is I don't know, some people from New Orleans sound, but got a firecracker agent. This guy's fantastic. He'll get the job done. Oh, really? Okay, what's his number? Oh, his name's Tom. That's great. Who else you got? Oh, well, I got Carrie too. She's also phenomenal. That's great. Who's your number 1 agent? Okay, who's your number 2 agent? Okay, great. Now I got 4. Now I'm making my phone calls. He gave me 4 people to research. I'm not taking his word for it. He gave me 2 that are the lowest split. He gave me the 2 top. I'm interviewing all 4, and then I make a decision based on doing this for 13 years. I ask a set of questions that you would never think of asking because you don't do this every single day for 13 years. You ask what you know to ask. Same way as if I was going to go and buy a piece of something different, or if I was going to buy a piece of portfolio in the financial markets, I would have no idea what to ask somebody who's going to be representing my money. I don't know because I don't do that. So for me to go get a Scottrade account, I'm going to go and buy some stocks. Really? No, you go to a professional, someone who can manage your transaction properly and provide the most value. You're spending the money anyway. So, same thing. Just a side note, when you sell your home, it's very important the listing agent you choose because you need to make sure you get the most money for your home. You don't want somebody who's going to cut their commission because that means they'll cut the value of your home the moment an offer comes in. You want the guy or the lady with a backbone who says, no, this is what I'm worth. And you're going to pay it because I'm going to get you top dollar. That's the difference between a solid professional and somebody who's a hack. And believe me, we're in a business where everybody just goes and gets their license. Like, the town I have my license in, there was a stat a few years ago that 1 in 52 people in the town have a real estate license. How dare you? Hold on a minute. Let me ask you a question. So you're home, right? Kids in school. Your husband's a multimillionaire, right? So you're going to go and swallow all those leads and make a couple mil more? How dare you? You don't leave the business for people who are professionals daily, every day, 358 days a year. You're going to swallow up because you're rich already and you have the lead? How dare you? How dare you? That's the thing, is you're up against the people who are in the town entrenched. They have those high net worth individuals that are friends. Their kids play together. And then all of a sudden they get the listing just de facto. You know, hey, I know Chrissy. Instead of them hiring a professional based on merit and value, no one's looking at it. And maybe it's because they don't truly understand it. Maybe it's because they don't want to hurt feelings. I had a client, I told you guys a few years ago. Let me show you this. So, this is me on the front page of the Connecticut Post in 2013. And at the time, I was the first guy to buy a drone in Fairfield County. Now, I know the drones existed because I bought one, so it's not like it didn't exist. But no realtor had thought about buying one for their business. Now, I'm a tech guy, so I'll tell you the story behind this. But this is what it looked like. That's my drone. You can probably see it in the air over there. And the byline says, MARKPIRES, a real estate agent with Coldwell Banker, my old firm, flies his custom-built quadcopter, which simultaneously shoots stills and video at a Fairfield home on Monday. Pires is the first agent to offer the state-of-the-art aerial service. Top and aerial photo of the property. And so there's another listing of mine that I had shot. So the bottom line is I was the first guy to not just think of it, but to take the risk and to spend the money. This is a very expensive proposition at the very beginning. No one realizes when drones first came out, it was a ridiculous bill that I had to pay for this thing. But I did it like full force, 100%. I was all in. I remember my wife said to me after she saw what I did, she goes, "What the?" I said, "Don't worry about it." I'm Nostradamus. I can see the future. No, but like, seriously, I did. I was like, this is where we go. I had already realized that the NAR, the National Association of Realtors stats, had said that viewers of a property spend 3 seconds on the main photo. If they don't like what they see, they're gone. They're gone. They go to the next house. So if I'm a young agent who says to myself, wait a second, if I put a piece of property out there and that first photo, it does not grab their attention enough to bring them to the second photo, I just lost my opportunity to sell this property. So my original theory was provide an amazing first shot to show the expansiveness of the property, show what's there in one photo. So that person who on the other side, that person sitting there looking at the screen says, well, geez, I want to see what's next. Click. And all of a sudden, I got him now. I got him hooked with at least that second photo. We're moving into the house instead of moving to the next house. So the drone was a huge advantage for that expansiveness of property. When I bought the drone, this is the story about Jeff I wanted to tell you. So Jeff, when he called me, my father's a builder. I worked for my father for 13 years before I got into real estate. Or it was a quasi, like I was selling real estate and working for my father and traveling the road as a musician, all these things. I mean, I really retired from music, but I was still doing some of it. I had a monthly show. That's where the beat seat came from. Anyway, so it's kind of just an amazing thing how all these things take place in your life. And some of them go somewhere, some of them fail. But a failure leads you somewhere if you're willing to open your mind to the fact that everything redirects you. Failure is not really a thing. I hope you guys know that. It's a redirection. And when you focus on something and you think that that's your path and you wind up realizing that's not really what you're meant to do, it's not, let me sit here and sulk. It's, okay, this is the dead end of that, but there's an offshoot here. Yeah, I got to go back to the end of this road in order to get back to the main road where things actually are going on, but I'll take that journey. You have to think about everything in life like this. We are creatures of habit, and in 2020, we have become accustomed to immediate gratification. Every single thing needs to take place immediately. I need to have that information right now, or I'm going to hire that new realtor. If I call Mark and he doesn't call me right back, I'm going to hire a new realtor. Or if I go and I look on Google and I can't find that information, well, shucks, I guess I'm just going to stop searching because Google didn't have the answer. We're a lazy society because of the access we have. So with that in mind, you have to provide more value. You need to provide a service that doesn't exist. So to me, to be the first drone guy was huge. Didn't exist. Now, of course, my wife said the other thing at the end. She goes, you know, you're just telling everybody to go buy a drone. I said, that's fine. Doesn't mean you have an eye. I think everybody's like got this philosophy. Well, I had a guy I worked with at my old office. He goes, well, I'm just going to go buy a drone. I said, good for you. Go buy a drone. I know you don't have an eye. Go buy a drone. People waste their money because they think, well, all I got to do is get the same tech. Well, believe me, getting something and knowing how to use it are two different things. And knowing how to use something and getting the image you really need are two different things. So the one thing I can tell you as an artist, you guys know as a music artist, if you're an artist in any manner, music, you're an artist in all manners. You think about things differently. And for me, I'm always going to visualize those shots. Even this right here, this shot right here, over here, this property, that's from about 50 feet up in the air. Most people who shoot drone photography at the time were shooting the roof. Like, I don't want to see the 4-acre property and a roof. I want to see that shot, you know what I mean? From 30 feet off the ground, where it just looks like money. It's the shot, you know what I mean? And you have to be able to visualize that. Most people think, well, I'll just get the equipment. If you can't see the angle, you'll never get the angle. You're just going to, wander around. Maybe you get lucky. But I've seen some horrible aerial photography where I know someone got the idea. It may not have been, eventually everybody buys a drone. Everyone got a drone. So, but at the beginning, the beautiful thing was I got all the press because I was the first guy to think about it. And the point is, as I've done with Real Talk, as I do daily in order to live in the moment, I continue to think in my own space The box doesn't exist. You guys, who everybody else is living in a box, I'm living in the open world. There's no box. It's just open air. The question is, where do you want to go? Everybody else is stuck in that box. I'm like, what box? Are you freaking kidding me? The box? What? When you create, when you have fun, you find new things when you're loving what you do. So the box doesn't exist. The box is you doing something that you don't like. The box is being in a career that really keeps you constrained because you can't find happiness there. That's the box. The only way the box ceases to exist is when you full force drive towards the unimaginable. I heard something interesting the other day from a guy who I think is kind of a chooch now, Jim Carrey, especially after I heard his Joe Biden impression, which is terrible. Can't believe that a celebrity impressionist like Jim Carrey does such a bad Joe Biden, but whatever. But he did say something at a speech he gave at a college. I guess he was a speaker, and he had this silly hat on. I'm like, was Jim Carrey being silly? But no, he was actually being very serious. It was a profound statement. He said, my father was a brilliant comedian, but he never took the shot of going to be a comedian. He took the safe road of being an accountant. And one day in the 80s or whatever it was, things got bad. And his father lost his job, couldn't find a job anywhere. And he said, so what he learned from his father, and he learned a lot of great things, but what he learned is you could do the safe thing and fail. So why would you not try to do the thing you love and fail? Because you could do the thing that everyone says, go to school, go get the job, and then you have the 401k, and still fail and be miserable in the process. Or you can do that. You can drive towards another dream that you have, a vision, and just make it happen. Now, this is a guy sitting here in front of you for 704 days. And I mean, I got the 14 of you guys on. I love you all. But we're no closer to reaching the world. We're no closer to this becoming more than it is for me. I just keep showing up every day. We're still shadow banned. We're still dealing with YouTube and Zuckerchooch and everybody wanting to stop positivity, stop a connection process that needs to exist and needs to take place. It's going to happen. It just takes a lot longer when tech decides to shut you down. It's amazing. If Zuckerchooch and YouTube decided to push this program out there, we would actually see people smiling again. We'd actually see people getting along and caring for each other and lifting each other up in the light. God forbid. Let's stop that, guys. We can't allow that. That would just be terrible for us. That would be terrible for our vision of destroying this world for control. Isn't it all about control? You guys are awesome. Raven's in the house with us now. Cindy Lou, you're the best. MK Ultra Brainwash System. Look, there's a lot of stuff going on in this world that I don't know about, but I will tell you what, I'm going to continue to show up for you guys in order to share the truth that I see from the open eyes that I have. And I do believe, because I don't watch politics. I mean, that's the funniest thing about this, is I spent 400 days not watching politics, only to watch the State of the Union and see the left sit in the room like this when they said all of the people that they've been pitching for the last 60 years are actually doing well. They did this instead of like, and if they did this, I would have never talked about politics. But because they acted like a bunch of little pissy, whiny brats who hate the president so much that they can't applaud for America, I had a hatred all of a sudden just rile up within me. And I'm the most positive guy there is. But when I see politicians that are supposed to be serving our country, serving themselves, that got me angry. And I'm like, wait a second, why is everybody voting for this to come back? Like, huh? So the whole thing really took me for a turn. I don't understand when, no, I do. You had a never ending war on this president who didn't go to war. First president to keep us out of a war. And the whole time they went to war with him. And I just have to laugh. I mean, look, I don't want to go politics, but I do have to say it's a very interesting thing that for 4 years you had the left wing, the Democrats, chanting and with just complete hatred for everybody who supports the president. And then also, it's not my president. That's not the legitimate president. I hate Trump. I kill Trump. All these crazy things they'd say and do. And then all of a sudden, Sleepy Poo, Sleep Sofa gets the nod based on, I don't know how the heck this guy can get more. You must hate Trump so much that you voted, more than 74 million people voted. There's nobody likes Joe Biden. I don't know anybody who's like, yeah, that guy's great, because he's not. And like I said, if he winds up being our president's sleep sofa, that's my sleep sofa. But I will still stand here and say we were progressing towards some really great things as a country. And to go backwards with an institutional politician who's going to bring us back to some of the policies we had where it's not America first, it's America last. And they're like, yeah, let's do it. America last. That's a good idea. Let's just sell off the country. Let's just sell it to Jeddah. But here's the thing. Not by Sleep Sofa. I tell you what, at the end of it all, we have no control. We don't. What we do is we put our vote out there to say what we say. And obviously a lot of other people who are dead did the same thing. And a lot of other people who aren't even citizens of the United States of America did the same thing. And a lot of other people voted 7 times. I saw that on TikTok. But we can't do anything about it. The courts may be able to, but I believe overturning it is going to create civil war. The left, they've proven something to me in the 4 years and, well, not at 4 years yet, but 3 years and 11 months, that they are really, really not willing to be human. How else can you explain that they will literally get violent, burn buildings, riot, hurt people, kill people, shoot people, burn people? Like, I don't even know if that happened, but the hatred, and it becomes an evil thing. It's not even about human anymore. There's evil that's coursing through that party. And not everybody, I said this to you guys yesterday, not everybody. There's great people that are just more liberal, okay? You should step up and say something, because that radical stuff that's going on, it's not good for our country. It's not good for our children. And I hope you guys know the cause and effect is you had these professors who were the hippie movement. Remember back in the 60s and 70s, the hippie movement, trying to really get change, man, change things. And then they become the professors of these universities, these colleges, these liberal arts, colleges, and they start pushing their agendas on these young kids, on our kids. And our kids start coming back saying the craziest stuff, right? Oh, well, yeah, George Washington did what? George Washington did what? What did you hear about George Washington? Oh, he had slaves. Do you realize that everybody had slaves until it wasn't a thing anymore? And the North was different than the South, obviously, but there were white slaves too. There were Chinese slaves. There were all types of slaves. We only like to talk about the black slaves, but there were white slaves as well. And still, there are slaves all over the world. This is not just a thing that happened in our country, 100 and 200 years ago, whatever it was, 180 years ago. But when we finally called an end to it, it was despicable. Nobody that is walking the planet now says, oh, that's a good thing. It's despicable. All slavery in all forms. I can make a case to you that I feel that me working almost every day, I do work every single day of my life, and then giving all of that money to the government is slavery. That I'm a slave to the government. Because it's not just that 30-something% that Biden's got us going to. It's also the gas tax. It's also the home tax I pay on my property and on my cars. Like, what? And then food. And then when I go out and I get, every single thing is taxed. And then you tax my income. So I can make a case that although I live in a house that I pay for and I earn in order to survive, I'm a slave because they steal. They steal from me every year. How's that? You guys want an election was stolen? I get stolen from every year. So do you. They steal from us every single year. Now, every April, you don't want to see me in April. How dare you? Let me ask you a question. So you're going to work, right? Do all the freaking work, right? You're there. You finally collect a check after all the work is said and done, right? You're going to come and put your hand in my pocket and take like 60% if you start talking about all the other taxes and stuff. How dare you? And then you're still friggin' broke? Oh, let's create some more programs. Let's give some more cell phones and TVs to the inner city people. Let's take it from him and give it to them. And they don't even want to friggin' work over here. How dare you? How dare you put me into slavery in the United States? This is 2020 to the government. How dare you? I know it's silly to say that, but, you know. Dagger, how are you, buddy? Oh, my goodness. Yeah, Dagger says we're better off renting. You're better off renting. That's what the UN wants. We own nothing. Dagger says they don't own right now. Amanda, how are you, Amanda? So good to see you. Act, great seeing you, buddy. Let's see. Dana said they have been brainwashed by pure evil. I know, it's a crazy thing. The Fed is doing the globalist bidding by killing the dollar through mass USD debt production. Yeah, that's true. Look, and this is an interesting thing. I have a buddy, Tim, who's a super genius when it comes to finance. I'd love to have him on the show because he can give me some real insight on this. But yeah, he talks about this a lot on, he's one of my friends on Facebook. So I see he's posting all the time about how the amount of money that the Fed has been just printing is washing down our dollar. And eventually, even though everything is being pushed up, it's eventually going to just completely crumble. And this goes back to a lot of what we've been hearing from the family here. Sig has been telling me as well that we're going to a cashless society very soon. He thought it was October, but that they're going to be doing something really, really weird. And all of a sudden, our money's worth nothing. And we only have digital currency. It's a scary thing. You know, I wanted to ask Scott about something last night that I didn't get to. So hopefully next week we'll get him back on the phone. But I wanted to ask him about a few of these time travelers that I've been doing some viewing of YouTube channels that have these time travelers, people who say they came back from the future. And a lot of the events that they talk about are a little strange. One of them is talking about, he talked about Martin Luther King's daughter being a president. Okay. Hear this one. This one was nuts. This guy says, and I didn't even know Martin Luther King's granddaughter's like, I mean, I had to do some research and then I found her and she just spoke like a few months ago and she's talking about how we need to come together. I'm like, wow, this could be a thing, right? Martin Luther King's granddaughter. He says this, I'm like, who is blah, blah, blah King? Let me take a look. Martin Luther King's granddaughter. She's 11 right now. This guy says he's from like 40 years in the future. Okay. So that means that she's 55, somewhere around there, 52. He says that they consider her the greatest president in history. So I guess at some point she overtakes Trump. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm fascinated by that. This guy, I think the same guy said that time travel was actually invented in 1980 something, 81, and that they kept it secret, but that it becomes widely known in 2029. The aliens will be landing on Earth the first time in 2029 as well. It's 28, 29, one of those two. Dag wants to know where I'm at on Bitcoin. I wish I had Bitcoin, just because it's something like ridiculous, $20-something thousand on Bitcoin. I don't have any Bitcoin. I don't have any stocks. I wish I did. You know, look, I'm a guy who supports 3 kids and a wife. I'm a real estate agent. That's where I make my money. I don't have stocks, you know what I mean? I don't have that, you know. I'm here working my tail off every single day to support a family. And I know it's like, that's what the guy Tim says too. He's like, there are people who are killing it right now, but it's the people who are already the 1% of the 1%ers. They have the money to throw into the marketplace and to take advantage of all these bumps. It's the people who are pushing through a daily existence. I mean, I'm dealing with COVID like everybody else is. I got to go out there and find new clients in a COVID market. I can't go out there and network. I can't go out there and shake hands and meet people and say, hey, look, I can help you this way. I'm a real estate agent. Do you know anybody? I'm in my basement. So I'm dealing with the struggle just like everybody else is. And it's tough. That's why my mind, my creative side said, well, maybe what I should do is reach out to the family and tell them, I need your help. If you guys know anybody who needs to buy or sell, send them my way. Yeah. Dag said lots of people moving from New York City to Jersey, and also up to Connecticut. Now it's gotten a little slower, but this is the thing. I need to figure out how to create a new avenue of these people so that instead of them just going to the listing agent, they call me. I haven't been able to figure that out in this better market. I'm missing a lot of the business that is going on around me. So this is why I said I got to figure out how to open up this concept of a real estate 101. So you guys see what I do. You hear how I speak to my clients, how I handle my real estate business. And you say, you know what? I feel confident enough to tell my friend Jill when she wants to sell that she should call Mark and just have a conversation with him, see if he could give her some guidance. Because that's all I ask is give me a shot. You know, I used to tell people, I don't want a listing like, hey, Mark, here you go. Like, I want to go in there and earn the listing. I want to walk in there and sit down and share what I'm going to do to help you sell that property. And if I earn it, then I want it. I don't want it just to get it. I mean, I do want it, don't get me wrong, but I don't want it given to me. I want to earn it. I want to go in there and show that I deserve it. And so if you give me the opportunity to meet someone, to speak to someone, that's all I'm asking for is the opportunity to be interviewed. That's it. I want to be at the table with those 2 to 3 other people. I don't want them to have those 3 options and not even know that there's a guy who's doing drone and who will shoot a live television program, a real talk show from the living room during an open house or something like that. You know, this is something that should add more value to the process. So I'm reaching out to you guys. And like I said, all you have to do is rack your brain a little. If you know someone, if you don't, just keep it in mind. So if you ever hear the words, yeah, I'm going to buy a house or I'm thinking about buying a second home. Well, do you mind if I support this talk show? Do you mind? He's a realtor and he's a very good realtor in his area, but he refers people all over the country. It's a big family. And would you mind if he found one more person for you to interview? I think most people will be okay with that because it's not them doing any work. And here is the best takeaway. It's free. It is a free service to every single family member on Real Talk. You don't pay a thing. All you do is send me information. I do the work. You don't pay. And if someone actually winds up helping you and they become your agent and sell it, that agent is actually going to pay me a referral fee. It's the way we do our business. I pay referral fees out whenever a piece of business comes to me from somewhere else in the country, and I'm very happy to do so. I want business. So we pay referral fees because we're thrilled to get a new piece of business. So keep that in mind if you don't mind, guys. And, oh, Carl, you're the best. Thank you. Position, latitude 20.3, 103.25, real estate, very interesting. Oh, thank you, buddy. Yeah, you know what? It is an interesting business. I've enjoyed it. I've definitely enjoyed doing this for the last 13 years, and I love helping people. Again, the motto of Real Talk is to affect a positive change one person at a time. I've been doing that effectively for my career in real estate. What gets me very much nervous is when I don't have a client to do that for. You know, when I finish up a piece of business, and like, here's a good example. I'm here right now instead of out with someone because I don't have someone to take out. I have a showing later, but I want clients all day long in order to support my family. That's where I'm at. And so basically I have to keep filling in new leads. The job of a realtor is lead generation. It's really all it is. Everything else most realtors can do. Some do it better than others. Some people can negotiate better than others. Some people are really good about explaining what's in a house and understand what's there, but they can't negotiate. I spent 13 years building homes. I can negotiate, and I put deals together through transparency. I know a lot of people play games. Deals don't come together that way. You kill deals by playing games. I don't care. I put deals together because I lay out the truth, and the agent on the other side gets it, and they express it to their clients, and their clients get it, and we do a deal. And sometimes that means they have to pay more than they want to. Sometimes that means that we have to understand. I don't like the idea of someone trying to game you when there's nothing to be gamed. I mean, this, at the end of the day, a house is going to trade for what someone's willing to pay and what a seller is willing to accept. One of the things that bothers me most about realtors is they'll call and they'll say, hey, I want to put an offer in on your property. Oh, great. Can't wait. Yeah, but you know what? These 50 things need to be done. And we can't even stand the fact that this carpet looks like this. And then the windows, and then they said, so wait a second, let me get this straight. You're about to give me an offer, which means your clients like it enough to put an offer in, but you want to sit here and disparage the listing, the entire conversation with me, and tell me how bad the listing is. Like, how do people think that's a great strategy to negotiate from? Hey, I got an offer from you. Here's everything wrong with the house. What? Now, how about you give me the offer and you put it out there with a little sugar? Hey, look, we know things need to be done over there, but we love it. This is all we can do based on what needs to be done. Can you share this with the sellers and see if we can come together? That, to me, is how you have a conversation with someone. The other way is starting on a negative. So, again, everybody has a different way of doing things. To me, it's about relationship building. It's about connecting people to the transaction and not leading them away from the transaction, so it's harder to put together. And guys, look, obviously, this is just like Real Talk. The way I handle my real estate business is just like the Real Talk show. I'm unscripted there too. I have the training though. That's the difference. Real Talk, I didn't go to school for philosophy. I didn't go to school for theology. I didn't go to school for the things that we do. I didn't go to school at Second City Comedy School. All right. Some people just have something that they can tap into. And my things happen to be what you see on a daily basis. Real estate's one of them. But I do have the background. I've got the 13 years of experience to back myself up with. It all comes down to communicating, comes down to getting along. So what I'd say is, if you have someone that you know needs to buy, needs to sell, you can be sure they'll be cared for when they call me, because you know me, and I'm going to take care of them. I'm going to make sure whatever they need, we'll find. I will find them the best agent in the town that they're in. And it sometimes may not be for my firm. That's the other thing. I'd done this before. I called once in Florida, and I called on, this is my old firm. I didn't like any of the agents. So I called a different firm. I said, look, are you willing to pay me a referral? I got a client, but I couldn't find anybody that was a good fit at my firm. They said, absolutely. Sent them the lead. Guess what? Deal traded. I haven't done a lot of those. I have not done a lot of those. You know how great that felt? To find a great agent for someone that I know. The deal got traded. I got a small check in the mail as a referral fee. And my client, that's right, was affected in a positive way. So use this service, please. It helps me out huge, because if I can start doing a ton of referrals, then I can stop focusing all of my time on looking for a new client on a daily basis. I mean, do you guys want me spending all my life out there trying to find that new piece of business so I can put food on the table? Or do we find a way together in order to make this the thing? We find a way to make this the thing. We find a way to do the referrals. And on a mass scale, there's a lady in Darien, my town over from me. She kills it every year. I couldn't believe this is my old firm as well. But we were together. My old manager was the manager of New Canaan and Darien, right next to each other, these two towns. And so we'd see the progress of the agents each month. It's the top 3 agents. And in Darien, every single month, this lady, Edinea, she's top agent, number 2, number 1, number 2, number 1, number 2. I never saw her. I was there for 9 years. I never saw her once. Not once. Not at a meeting, not at an office meeting. We had meetings once a month. She never went to one meeting. I said to my old manager, I said, how does Edinea do this when I've never seen her? I've never seen her come in the office. He said, all she does is refer. She doesn't sell a property to people. And she stays home. She finds great agents all over the country for her contacts, and she refers business. And that's where she makes her money. That's a pretty amazing thing right there, because I spend all my time trying to go and sell a piece of business so I can make money. She's doing it the opposite way. She's relying on her contacts, relying on her infrastructure in order to make a living. Like I said, we all know people who need to buy or sell real estate. All you have to do is say, do you mind if this guy finds you one more agent? All you got to do is say, yeah, why not? I'm not doing anything for it. And if you like him, you use him. If you don't, then you don't use him or her. You just use whoever you want to use. But it's a great opportunity to get one additional person to look at. I just put my email back up here if anybody has anybody that you could think of. Or if you want to chat at all about it. If you're like, hey, my cousin has said that, you just told me. I saw him for Thanksgiving. This is supposed to do. We're supposed to do social distancing. But they said they're going to be selling their house soon. And you know what? I'll let them know that you can find them a great agent. Like I said, they may not like the agent, but just even getting that momentum of someone went in the door and was interviewed from your cousin or whatever would be massive for this. Because the more we can get this to start, momentum becomes. And I really see it as something like if Jerry, for example, is like, hey, you know what, Mark, I want to buy something and I'm in Albuquerque currently, but I want to move to Texas. I want to go to Fort Worth. So then we would like be chatting about it. Like during Real Talk, we'll have like conversations. Hey, how did it go with that agent? Did you like him? Look, I could call another one if you didn't like that one. Or I did have another one that was pretty good, but I liked this one better. If you don't like that one, you want me to call the pretty good one and give him a shot? Because sometimes I'm a little too picky. I got to be honest. Sometimes I'm interviewing people and I'm like, nope, you didn't make the cut. They're like, well, what would I mean? Sorry. You're working on my standards. How dare you? Hold on, man. You can't do that. I am a bit picky when it comes to who I choose for my clients. I want to make sure you get someone amazing. So I'm really, really like careful about that. I'm just not sending you a random name and number. And most people will do that. Just so you know, the way referrals work typically is they just send a form out and the manager at that other place just finds an agent and that's the end of it. I just like the idea of doing the extra work and helping my clients at least have that comfort that they are dealing with the best person for the potential job at hand. So, guys, she was selling that oceanfront property in Colorado. You're funny. You are funny. Oh, yes, Dana, you're awesome. Hopefully I'll see you tonight. Cheryl, good to see you guys. The Cheryls at the dials. Remember, if you did, to come see me in the Bronx at my table with my coffee and with my biscuit. You have to swim from the dial. Oh, guys. Let me see. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody here that joined us. Dagger, so good to see you again, brother. Tonight, guys, I will be back for a standard a standard Real Talk. We're going to be getting together for day 704, playing some music on the beat seat, laughing. How dare you guys? Should probably be back. I don't know. I want to tell you, if you haven't seen it yet, yesterday's show with Scott from Planet X was really cool. He called in about 3 hours and 20 minutes into the show. The first 15 minutes, if you choose to watch it now or later, I'm going to be playing it for us right before the show. Super powerful moment. Super powerful. And just tell you what I titled it, because I think this is one of those things the world needs to see this, guys. The title of this one is How to Save the Soul of Humanity. So, how to save the soul of humanity. I would love for you to watch that 15 minutes. And Hilly, I think, because Hilly's got so much insight. Biblically, I don't know. I feel like anybody who channels, like I channel on this show, is connecting to the same thing. Same power source. I think I even said at the end there, I can't take credit. I can't take credit sometimes for the things that come out because I'm just channeling and I'm connecting to the moment and allowing the spirit to speak. Now, what spirit? You call it whatever you want, but I allow. And when you allow, the most amazing things can take place. So, my friends, until this evening, about 5 hours. I'm trying to come on tonight at about 7:30. Ah, yes, Hilly, the first part was so cool. Scott it was a lot of fun having Scott on, hearing about Planet X some more, and also hearing about his shadow banning issues once he started to really get closer to Planet X. They shut him down. Isn't that interesting? All of this suppression of truth. It's a sad thing. We live in a day and age where they try to suppress the reality in order to continue to give you the fiction. But we will continue to drive to the light, and build each other up, because that's what Real Talk is about. So I appreciate you guys on this Real Estate 101. I'm going to run through really quick and say bye to all the family hanging out with me. Hilly Billy, you're awesome. Acts, Cheryl, Michelle Silliman kicking it with me. Oh, so cool, Michelle. I'm so glad you're watching last night's show. We were just talking about it. It was a really good one. I'm going to try to drop it as the podcast for today. Right now, currently, just so you know, podcast number 76, I believe. I'm going to drop the link here for you. If you guys can click this and just check out the page. The concept here on this link, this is an anchor link. This is where my show hosts. When you click this link, it will bring you to a page, and on the top, you'll see like a bunch of links. That's Stitcher, iTunes, every podcast platform is right at the top of the page, Spotify. So whatever you choose to listen to your podcasts on, just click that link real quick, and you can choose that. Subscribe, download. It's free of charge. And again, the plan here is to put out a podcast every day of the week and just take the weekends off for podcasts. And of course, I'll be live with you every day forever. So, until later. Anna, Jerry, Hilly, Acts, Cheryl, Michelle, Farkas, Dana, who had to take off, Dagger, Mark Klosick, my buddy, Carl Alva. Let me see, I'm rolling through it. Okay, I can't go that much further. Renee and Arizona Raven. I very much look forward to seeing you guys tonight. We're not done. This is part 1 of day 704 in a row of the Real Talk Show. It's MARKPIRES. And it's Real Talk. Real Estate 101. I'll see you later. Love you guys.